Ryan Kelly, and we are here with the Motorcoach channel at the 2023 Bus World in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm here with Tony Mongiovi. He's with TEMSA. And Tony, I want you to tell me that wonderful title that you have. What's your title here?
I am the Northeast representative for TEMSA North America on sales and service.
Wonderful.
From Maine to Virginia.
That's awesome. But you've been in the bus industry a long time.
Over 50 years.
Wonderful. And how long you been with TEMSA?
13 years. I was actually the second U.S. employee TEMSA ever hired.
Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all have covered a lot of ground in 13 years.
We've gone through a lot together.
You know, when you talk about the beginning, you brought in that 35-foot coach that everybody fell in love with, and you introduced that to the North American market. Would you agree with that?
I would. We are proud. That's actually the coach that put us on the map.
Yep. And
we still hold 80% of the 35-foot coach market in the U.S.
So why do people like that coach?
I believe it's because the charter groups got smaller. And so the people that were chartering the coaches, if you're getting on with 30 or 40 people and there's 10 or 15 empty seats, people look like, oh, maybe nobody wants to do this. But if you get on a full coach and there's 40 seats full, and that's kind of the niche. It's also easier to get around the cities. We just sold a nice one to Nantucket because it's so difficult around the islands. So you can get in and out a lot easier than a 45-foot coach.
And is it more efficient? Is it more fuel efficient? Is it it's easier to park? It's easier to get in New York City with?
It's less expensive to purchase up front.
Okay.
And absolutely more fuel efficient and less changes between intervals with maintenance and things like that, brakes and all. So, yeah, it's been a home run.
For sure. But you feel like 13 years later now, you've got electric vehicles here, you've got 45-footers, and you've introduced a lot of new vehicles in the market in the last, 5 to 7 years?
We have. The second vehicle we bought in was a 30-footer because we saw a niche for that in the U.S. industry. And then we realized to really open up brick and mortar and to be efficient, you had to have the full line. So then we bought in the 45. And in Europe, our 45-foot electric is very popular already. So we said, hey, let's at least make it available in the U.S.
And TEMSA is, the buses and the headquarters is in Turkey?
It is Adana, Turkey.
And you're a global bus maker. So this is just not one of the markets that you serve. 84
countries right now we're in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does that help the customer here in the U.S.?
Well, I guess it helps. You know, I hate the word supply chain because it's all we hear lately is supply chain.
Yep.
Ever since COVID, it's been supply chain. But when you can buy in bulk like that, supply chain certainly helps.
Okay.
And that is probably one of the biggest things is we buy in bulk, and then we become more self-efficient by making our own parts because there's so many vehicles being built.
Now, I was very interested. We've seen several launches, and it was interesting to see your team in Turkey come here and really listen to what the customer wanted and take that back and kind of put that in the next iteration of the buses that came back to the U.S.
You know, you hit that right on the head, and that was being pretty observant. I've worked over my years in the industry with a few different manufacturers, and TEMSA listens. First, they really love the American market. And they're actually proud to be in the U.S. market. But if a customer comes to us and says, boy, we really don't like how you do this, or we really think you should do that, and they think it's a good idea, they put it on an assembly line and they start doing it. And maybe it's as simple as a little door. A quick story, customer David Benedict came to me and said, you should have a door here so I don't have to open up this big door. And 3 months later, we had a door there. We call it the David Benedict door.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they listen well.
Now, post-COVID, everybody saw a tremendous demand on buses in the marketplace, which really helped all the OEMs. But how did that affect TEMSA?
The long and short of it is, I think we forecasted, we were hoping to sell 80 buses in 22. That was going to be a home run to us, and we put 142 over the curb.
Wow!
Mostly because we had them. So we were fortunate. For us, it was a perfect storm. Some of our competitors had less inventory. We had it, and it seemed at that point, if you had it, you were going to sell it. And our company seemed to benefit by some of the funding that the government was giving. So there was money there, and the banks were lending. So, again, it was a perfect storm.
So now we are almost to at the end of first quarter. I mean, it's already here, kind of, or halfway through.
It's February already.
What do you see for the rest of the year for TEMSA here in 2023?
I don't believe we're building enough buses.
Okay.
We have taken more deposits pre-delivery than I think we ever have.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going to be a banner year.
And your electric bus here in the U.S. There's a tour coming up. You're going to be doing some stuff with it.
We are. It's actually finishing up one of its last tests. We actually have 2 demos in the U.S. and one is in Indiana, finishing up a Bendix test.
Okay.
And then one is in Google on a demo test.
All right.
So yeah, we're pretty excited because we make our own batteries. We even mine some of our own minerals.
Wow.
So they're really involved in the electric end of it.
Well, we wish you much success. We appreciate you taking some time with us here at Bus World. And Tony, thank you for your 50 years of service to the industry. And we wish Tim so much success here in 2023.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right. We're here with the Motorcoach channel with Tony Mongiovi. And he works for the Northeast for TEMSA. And thank you.